everyone. I'm Matt. This is Desiree.
Hello.
We are here on Monday, April 3rd, 2017, and today's class was all about how to dance a dance. I thought we learned that on the first day, right? So, you learned how to dance specific patterns, which you can put them in a row to music. But what this class was all about was getting your dance to feel more like dancing and less like a series of patterns, which is hopefully what you want to go for. We started out talking about momentum. It's really important for the followers to understand that you need to maintain the momentum that you're given. So we did an exercise. We face the same direction. I give Desiree some momentum by moving my body, and then I can take away the momentum and give momentum in the opposite direction. And it's important that the followers are thinking about trying to go until the leader stops and not just popping out of the connection the minute you feel any sort of contact. So we then applied that to our dancing. Followers thinking about maintaining your momentum throughout the patterns. This, in and of itself, will help your dance to feel a lot more continuous and less segmented. We talked for leaders about kind of the train track analogy. You think about, we're on train tracks, the followers of the train, they're going right down the middle of the tracks. But I can play hopscotch on either side of the rail, depending on what pattern I want to lead next. So if I want to lead something where I'm blocking the follower, I'm going to stay kind of right in the middle. This is where most of us tend to hang out all the time. If I want to lead something where the follower is going by my right side, for instance a right side pass, I can inch myself a little bit off to the left side and open my right shoulder up a little bit on my previous anchor step. Likewise for a left side pass, in the exact opposite, I open my left shoulder and inch off to the right side. So we can push break. I want to do a right side pass next, so I open this side. From here, it flows kind of naturally to do a left side pass next, because I just keep myself in towards my arm. Left side pass. From here, I'm going to block the follower and do a push break. The piece for followers comes in where if your leader's not doing this, right? If my leader's doing this, I don't want to influence this at all normally. But if my leader's not doing this, and let's say they sometimes get confused about whether they want to lead a left or a right side pass, and they change their mind about which one halfway through. As a follower, you can float to one side of the slot or the other, slightly. And you'll find that magically, your leader will just decide then to do that side of the pass. So, this is a fun way to just vary up your dance. Followers, if you want to, oftentimes leaders won't even notice you're doing it and will just lead the pattern that you led. So, the last piece we talked about was thinking about adding higher level actions into kind of basic patterns. So a lot of what I will do and what a lot of higher level dancers will do when they're dancing is not think about like, okay, so I took this workshop where we learned a stuck, then we do a spin, and a rock and go into a tuck, right? That could be a great combination, but when I'm dancing on the fly, I want to be able to add those pieces in and understand how to use each piece separately. So, first thing we did was we talked about trying to find places to put tucks into patterns where there aren't normally tucks. So, we all know the push break tuck and the passing tuck. But, can you put a tuck into a whip? So, easiest one for me is to tuck kind of right after 4. You could also do a tuck into a basket whip. Or if we do the tuck, catch the follower's shoulder, and go into a basket whip. Played around with that. We talked about how I wouldn't say that an outside turn whip is a tuck because it lacks that compression and redirection feeling that you normally have during tuck actions. We talked about putting a tuck into a right side pass. So, simplest one, just do a right side pass, spin the follower around a little bit early, and go into some like quick compression and tuck out of it.
So beginners, we learned the left side pass with the inside turn. The inside turn is a variation on a basic pattern, the left side pass. The tuck, likewise, is a variation. By adding in variations into basic patterns, we can elevate our level of dancing.
Another popular version of a right side pass with a tuck is what's called a Dallas side pass. You swap the hand, go into compression, and then do a spin. You can do 2 spins out of that. It's going to be very similar setup to a finger spin or a one-footed spin, if you know that, where you have that compression in the middle of the pattern. So, the last thing we talked about was rock and goes. These rock and goes are a fun way that you can stitch patterns together if you want to hit music or just if you want to keep your dance going and add a little bit of variety. So for the rock and go, I as a leader, I'm thinking about building tension to increase level on 5. So I'm checking back with 5. At this point, my job is pretty much done. We finish it out and 2. And we're where we would be on count 2 of the next pattern. So I have 2 options here, right? I don't want to confuse the 2 and go 5 and 6 and just leave 1 early. I want to be really clear. I'm either settling on 5,
Or a regular anchor,
in
5
which
and
case
6.
the anchor finishes, or I'm checking back on 5, in which case we're doing a rock and go. Talked about also leaders, the one pattern that's basic that doesn't really work well with a rock and go is the push right tuck, because the followers are turning throughout the anchor. So if you kind of rock and go in front of it, it will feel kind of like they're getting pulled out of their shoes. That was your class. Thank you all for coming, and hope you had fun.